Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Last time on JoJo, we had Head to Venice, or, as some people would say, Venezia. Because, after defeating Baby Head and sending snakes to kill Melone, the gang was, they were off to Venice to receive a floppy disk of some sort of computer disk, which would give them the instructions of how to deliver Trish to the boss. And then Giorno and Mista were sent ahead to go get that. Somehow, the last two remaining guys of the Hitman team managed to use a computer in 2001 to scan the ashes of a photograph and completely and perfectly reconstruct it to where they know exactly where the disc is as well. I don't understand how that works either. But the interesting thing is one of them did go and started to fight with Giorno and Mista, and his powers are absolutely terrifying. It's another ice stand, and it's a nice stand too. Sorry. But it was really cool, actually. I really like the freezing abilities this guy has, and he's very terrifying. And Mista and Giorno, they're really being put through the ringer on this, but they are figuring things out very slowly. And last we saw, Giorno drove them right off the bridge into the water, so we're gonna have to see what's going on with that. But that's pretty much it. So, like always, the reaction is down in the description and in the pinned comment for your viewing pleasure. So let's go ahead and jump right into this episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Here we go. I was just noticing it's a little cloudy out there, and if you may have noticed during the reaction that the power flickered for a sec, we seem to be good. Luckily, I've got a battery on my computer so that nothing goes off when the power flickers. The internet seems to be good, so we're all fine there. But I need to check out the weather a little bit later. We had a major storm last night, so I'm wondering if we might have another one tonight. I don't know. Kind of hope not. Oh well. Not the point. The point is JoJo. So, man, we spent like 3 episodes on Formaggio, but we barely got an episode and a half on this guy. Holy crap, hang on. I can't see anymore. Wow, my eyesight's gotten terrible. Anyway. But yeah, we spent so long on some of the other lamer guys only to have an episode and a half of White Ice. Like, come on. Come on. Why? This guy was so cool. Ha! Get it? He was cool. And I don't know. It was such a great fight, and it was a good Mista episode, and it was good for Giorno. I like, if you're not going to do Giorno as, the main focus of the episode, and that's fine. You don't have to always do that, but I like Giorno, being there. Honestly, I like Giorno and Mista together. Like, the two of them are so interesting, So yeah. Like, this was really friggin' good. Like, a really, really damn good fight. And it was really only one episode, Oh, well. Take what you can get, I guess. Take what you can get. So. And hey, it was good. I enjoyed it. And I am enjoying Golden Wind, so. Alrighty, the first thing I wrote down in my notes was the grass and the snowboard that Mista created. That was very clever. I don't know how the hell he, fashioned that so quickly, but that was really good. I like that. Using that again. Oh, I guess it is just stick all the frozen grass together, And then white ice could undo it so quickly, But yeah, that was really, really interesting. I like that. Very creative, very good. Honestly, I think I like white ice a bit more than Horus, because Horus was alright, but it was just sort of, it was pretty standard stuff. I don't know, this one just felt stronger, or maybe just because, well, I don't know. Horus made a gigantic ice spike and just destroyed not only a dude, but also his car, so I guess, comparing power, they're probably similar, though. And I like that ice is kind of the most dangerous power in JoJo, Because between White Ice, Horus, and Dio's, Flash Freeze, ice is really, really strong. And I like that this is a recurring thing in JoJo, is using ice as a power, So yeah, I really like that. And even also, not just using ice, but also using kind of reusing a bit of Wamu as well, because the armor and then the barrier that he can create around him, honestly, that's very much like Wamu's wind armor, which he really only used that to, he can change basically the direction of light, and he can refract it somewhere else so that sunlight doesn't hurt him, basically. And it is something, he has to keep up. It's not something he can just do all the time, but it's something he was able to do, and he fought Caesar for a little bit with that, So I like it is sort of the same principle of, using the air around you, and especially in Venice, which I'm going to go out on a limb and say Venice is pretty humid, So, especially in a humid place like that, because it seems that the purpose, specifically the power with white ice, is not just creating ice out of nothing, it's freezing any sort of moisture specifically, So, whereas you get something like Horus, which is, I would say Horus is maybe a bit more akin to Todoroki's ice power and MHA, where it's which is ridiculous. They never explain, they never go into, detail of Todoroki's quirk, but he just, blasts a glacier forward, basically, And, yeah, he can just do that. And could white ice do that? Maybe, but you have to have enough stuff. It seems like where, Horus or Todoroki, they can just generate ice out of nothing. White ice seems to, he needs something to freeze, if you put this guy in the middle of the desert in New Mexico, probably not going to get a lot. Or, I guess we should say Egypt, because that's where the last ice stand was, But there, Horus was just fine. There was never any trouble of creating ice in the middle of Cairo, So, presumably, I think that's what they're going on. Is that Horus can generate ice from nothing, whereas white ice specifically freezes things. And that was the thing, too, was that last episode, it's not just that he creates ice to catch up to the car, it's that he freezes the trail from the exhaust in order to catch up, And here, it's the same thing. He freezes the moisture in the air around him. He can actually freeze and unfreeze, the disc. He changed that into air, basically. Or whatever that was. I'm not even sure how he did that, but by that same property, he can also reverse it instantly and instantly melt it as well, which is really interesting. Which Todoroki, again, he needs his fire in order to do that, and he literally just melts it with fire, whereas white ice can just turn it off, with a better snap than I can do. Okay. Today is apparently not a snapping day for me. So that was really, really interesting. We had Mista shooting the car parts, which was good. The grass turning back into parts and then shooting that to break through, which was good. And then, yeah, the barrier and everything. And interesting, I actually like that we got more of Mista's backstory. Like, that was really interesting, because yeah, I was just thinking, like, I never really thought about it, because he was the first sort of person we got with backstory, but all the others end with them meeting Bucciarati, you know? Narancia, Abbacchio, and Fugo, they all end with them meeting Bucciarati, but Mista didn't have that. And I didn't even think about that until now. It's like, oh yeah, we actually don't know what happened. All we saw him in the shootout. We saw him in the shootout, and it's like, oh, that's how you infer, like, oh, okay, because he had this sort of miracle, that infers what his stand will be, So, and that was really good. I really like Mista's backstory, but then I like that we actually do get more of it here. That his self-defense plea didn't work, and the only reason he got out of jail was because a big player in the Passione got him out because he wanted him for his team. So yeah, that was really, really cool. And then yeah, Determinazione. I love, because we're not doing accents anymore. We haven't done accents since Battle Tendency, and it would be hilarious if everybody in this part had an Italian accent. It'd be hilarious. But I like that they sprinkle in a decent amount of Italian words, which I can only assume they do that. They also do that in the Japanese version, So, which has to be hilarious, listening to a Japanese person pronouncing an Italian word, which anyone who's not Italian speaking an Italian word has to be hilarious, Like, I'm not just leaving that to the Japanese. It's got to be hilarious for everyone, but yeah. So, but I like that. And yeah, Determinazione. And with that determination, the path was unveiled, and I like that Giorno specifically spilled his blood to reveal where the barrier was, so that Mista could fire. So yeah, and then not only that, but then blinding him and hitting him into that pole, which was really interesting. Of course, then he froze his own blood, which was interesting. And boy, now that I think about it, freezing the blood so that it won't flow anymore, boy, the girl in that one Rohan episode really could have used that. What was that, Mutsukabe Hill? She really could have used that power. Oy. Oh, that makes you wonder now, would that have worked? If you froze the entire body, would it still be bleeding? There's a good question. I don't know. There was no ice stand in that story anyway, so that was a fucked up story too, by the way. If you haven't checked out Thus Spoke Rohan Kishibe, the 4 OVAs, definitely go check them out. They were really interesting, and I actually did a reaction to all 4 of them right in a row. And that's in the middle of the JoJo playlist between part 4 and part 5. It'll just be right there. So yeah, go watch that if you haven't, and go watch those OVAs if you haven't done that already. Imagine most of you probably have, though. It's on Netflix, so yeah. Anyway, but those were really interesting, and this was really, really interesting too. So yeah, blind him and then hit him in the back, and then try to basically just keep shooting until he gets hit. And then yeah, I like that it's like, oh well, yeah, that wasn't enough, and now I'm supporting myself with my own frozen blood, and now I can kill you. But during all of that, he completely forgot about Giorno, who managed to get over there and save Mista completely. And then, yeah, Giorno with the assist, killing him. I love that in all of that, he didn't, for the Muda rush, he didn't use his hands. Because he had used his hands a bunch, and they kept getting frozen. He lost his hand again. And so, for the final thing, he was like, you know what? I'm going to kick him. It's like, good job, Giorno. You kicked him. So, but Giorno does do that a number of times, more than probably any other stand does. So I like that. But yeah. And then we did get the full explanation of how Giorno can heal. And it's the same thing that he did with Babyhead, is that he creates these new parts, basically. And presumably, that means that some effects of Golden Wind can remain permanent. We've talked about, and some of you guys have discussed in the comments, what can, exactly be permanent, like Zipper Man. How many, can Zipper Man make a zip and then that becomes permanent, or can it not? Basically, how does that work? And I guess the same thing applies to Golden Wind, but it seems like you can keep it permanent, because those he still has the parts he had that he created during Babyhead, and presumably that's going to be happening with Mista here. But yeah, he's basically transforming all of those bullets transforming those bullets into all the parts that those bullets, got rid of. So that was crazy. And then, good funny moment at the end of Narancia being confused as to what he was seeing. So yeah. That was funny. And then the last thing, and I didn't write it down, but the last thing, we saw the boss. We saw the boss as he is very confident that the team will be able to take down the last of the Hitman team. So yeah, and then he just disappeared or something. Was that his stand? I don't know how the hell that works. So we don't even know anything about his stand. We don't know the guy's name or anything. We don't even know what he looks like. So yeah, no idea, but I'm sure we'll find out eventually, because I'm pretty sure that the boss is going to be, the final boss of the part. But we'll get there when we get there. But yeah, good episode. Really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to see where we are going next time. We got 20 more episodes, actually, so this is just about the halfway point of part 5, which is pretty cool. So yeah. But that is basically it. With all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around any of those. There's a playlist for all of my JoJo's Bizarre Adventure reactions, as well as another video you can go click on if you want. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.